The analytics sandwich is an essential read to all business leaders seeking to leverage analytics to unlock all the potential in their organizations. We wrote this book given the hard truth that only a tiny minority of organizations are reaping all the benefits from advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, and generative AI. And why is that? How can we empower business leaders and their organizations to make informed decisions? How can we help them to mitigate some of the pitfalls along the way? This book is essential a call to action. We want to empower the leaders to embark on and scale fast this advanced analytics journey. We reflect upon on how we should integrate technology, namely artificial intelligence, into their business models. Business models from digital native firms and also legacy ones. So the authors bring an extensive expertise, combined expertise of business consulting and academia to show how strategy problem definition, strategizing, complex problem solving can go to a new frontier. A frontier where the power of analytics and the power of data is hybridized with the power of intuition. It's not just the human and the machine working together, but it's actually learning from each other. And the book brings a revolutionary framework to show how can organizations come up with a much more data-driven analytics mindset.
I think one interesting thing, Bernardo, is that actually, in the process of writing the book, in the beginning, I guess we were a little bit making sure that this framework was clear for everyone, but we definitely also put a chapter just on use cases that, our readers can actually understand how does that actually work in practice. So not only in what is the best framework to make this advance, but also what are really the impact that you can drive on your business by really leveraging the analytics framework that we have actually developed.
Analytics offers several benefits across different business dimensions, but let me highlight 3 key benefits of applying analytics to business. So the first one is informed decision making. Either organizations or individuals, when applying analytics to their decision making, they make decisions based on concrete evidence, either just on gut feeling or intuition. So this allows them to make better decisions, so by limiting their biases, by not simplifying their models or not overlooking some aspects of the decision, but this also reduces the risk of making costly mistakes. And also an important aspect of this benefit is that at the end of the day it's more easy to communicate your decisions to others, both the teams, the department and the leadership. Another important benefit of applying analytics is actually the way you apply it. So you can make decisions more often, more frequently in this case, so much faster, and also be able to implement them much easier. The idea is that behind these 3 leverages that you have with analytics is that you are able to constantly update your decisions and make the change in your decisions according to the dynamics of today's world. And the final benefit that we can also identify with this kind of journey with analytics is that at the end of the day you can gain a competitive advantage by using analytics. So this competitive advantage, for instance, might be because you are able to uncover some market trends faster than competitors. You can better understand your customer, predict the way they behave, but also try to improve and make more efficient operations. So at the end of the day, having a more sustainable competitive position in the market.
Let me just add that when we are talking about people, in your first aspect that you mentioned, that we are mentioning augmented decision making. So we are not aiming to replace people, but rather to give them the tools to make better decisions in their daily processes. In the era of generative AI, companies are increasingly using data and applying sophisticated methods. But we still witness a gap between the ability to use those methods and effectively obtain bottom line profitability in the business. And we can highlight two major obstacles for that. First and foremost, we have people and processes. According to a HBR study, 93% of companies fail to adopt and to become a data-driven company because of aspects related with company alignment, with cultural resistance and other people aspects. And let me highlight here that regarding people and processes, we still are experiencing a problem regarding with capabilities. Companies should upskill and reskill their employees in order to be able to understand and deal with this kind of techniques.
I think one interesting thing is that with this generative AI movement, we actually see business leaders a little bit overwhelmed with all this technology and really not understanding what should be actually the technology to apply to a given business. So I think one thing that we advocate in the book is that we should go from the problem to the technique. And generative AI is fascinating in a sense that I guess business leaders are trying to push a technique without really understanding what is the business problem that they are trying to tackle.
Exactly, Pedro, and that is a great bridge to my second obstacle, which is data and technology, because companies understand that they need to upskill their technology and their resources in order to tackle these opportunities. And of course, data is most of the times organized in silos and structure and not easily accessible. And they see this as an obstacle to the implementation of this kind of techniques. But what we should be aware is that both data and technology are only enablers for the use of advanced analytics, and we should be aware that data is not analytics and analytics is not definitely technology.
All companies are seeking to understand how they are really, starting this analytics and AI journey. I guess we see this every day, and I would stand with two main aspects to make it fly. We actually have covered one, which is you need the hard skills, you need the talent, you need the people to actually be able to, drive analytics projects. It's not enough to think that, soft skills will ever make a company a super analytics data-driven company. That's just not possible. So clearly talent and hard skills are kind of a critical aspect to cover. But also we have seen is that even in companies with a very analytical prowess, they are sometimes not able to scale and derive value from their projects. I think what really happens is that very often we miss the strategic alignment that is necessary to make this fly. And by strategic alignment, I mean having a vision for the projects that you want to undertake and what are the impact that they will deliver on your KPIs. And it could be safety KPIs, it could be P&L KPIs, it could be sustainability KPIs. It's not really that it always has to be bottom line impact. You see, analytics can actually deliver value across different set of KPIs, but one thing has to be there, which is to have projects that align with your key KPIs. And for that, we actually have a chapter devoted in our book on how you can actually understand what are the projects that you want to drive in your organization. I guess we have kind of a counterintuitive idea in our book that it's worth to explore.
And instead of just seeking for a moonshot project, a huge project, we actually sell the idea of a domino effect. So if you define the journey, and if you are able to identify low-hanging fruit type of projects, then you really can make this cultural shift at the company across all levels, all hierarchical levels of the organization, starting from the board, right?
Yeah, starting from the board. And I think you're totally right. Very often we see companies being lured, very often by consultancy companies, I would say, into making this big bang project that suddenly will, make their company super data-driven colossus. That is really not the way we see it. We see this kind of a step-by-step journey in which the value of analytics proves itself. So we don't really have to step into the darkness and believe that by throwing millions out of your window you will actually become data driven. Do it the other way around. This space itself, there's value in actually delivering your process in a more analytics fashion And that's really, I think, a key message from our analytics sandwich book.
What we are saying actually is that at some point we need a top-down approach in order to understand what are the strategy of the company and how to align it, the KPIs and the major aspects with the opportunities that we are pinpointing in this roadmap that is built upon data and analytics.
The top-down approach only works in case the C-suite leaders lead by example, and in case they really understand all the potential and use cases that can be leveraged with advanced analytics.
Yeah, regarding that, we just have a chapter, and kind of in a nutshell, I think people will get a chapter 2, right? Will give business leaders the basic understanding to be able to dialogue along these terms. And I think that is an important part of our book, to make sure that leaders are actually able to, talk the business about analytics with their teams, which is fundamental for exactly what you're saying, leading by example. I guess that's a very important motto for the whole journey.